Hello, Voices from the Bench community. Pat Kuhn from Ivoclar here. Innovation and education are inseparable partners in our profession, where continuous change offers you the opportunity to raise the bar of dental care and elevate what is clinically and technically possible. So we at Ivoclar have created Ivoclar Academy, where we support you through cutting-edge educational programs and resources. We understand that you have busy schedules and individual preferences for learning. To help leverage your time and maximize your learning experience, the Academy has educational opportunities that are easily accessible and fit any learning style. Whether you are looking for an in-person program or for virtual education, Ivoclar Academy offers multi-channel opportunities that allow you to learn at home, in the classroom, in the office, or on the go. In addition, we offer CE accredited learning opportunities. You can receive a certificate of attendance for each CE eligible program or training course completed from the Ivoclar Academy. Simply log on to ivoclar.com and click on the Academy link located at the top of the page to get started. Happy learning.
Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Greetings and welcome to episode 321 of Voices from the Bench. My name is Elvis.
And my name is Majorca.
No, it isn't. Not anymore. We are back.
No, damn it.
Barb, how was it coming back? Did the work stack up on you?
Yes, but it was an unbelievable trip. All the flights were on time. It was super seamless, unbelievable. Exocad was amazing, just awesome.
Yeah, the whole event was just so well done.
Yep.
You know, you go into these things not really knowing what to expect, but the hotel was beautiful. It was connected to the convention center. I've never done a convention where literally outside the big glass window is the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, literally a street away, and they had the doors open and the air was coming in, and it was just such a great vibe.
Yeah.
The few speakers I was able to see did an amazing job. They had a huge stage.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I think we both felt like super blessed, honestly. I never actually thought it was going to happen. And then when it did, I was just like, wow, I'm actually here. And I feel like you and I gave it our all. We kicked ass. We never moved. We had a ton of great interviews, and it was just blessed.
Yeah.
Really.
And what's cool is the episodes, when they finally come out, it is a hodgepodge of accents. We talk to people from all over the world. I mean, not just people in Spain, but also the U.S., but Sweden, not Switzerland, Sweden.
I know I said Switzerland. I know that was a dig with your partner over here. But I must ask you, you have a story to tell.
Yeah, so I got to give a shout out to a gentleman and just the fact that people in our industry are just so amazing.
Yep.
So after Majorca, the wife and I went to Barcelona for about 4 days. Everything's great. Had a great time. We're leaving to come home. I'm going through the Barcelona airport. Now, Barcelona is a major city.
Yeah.
So this airport is pretty major. Pretty seamless. Go through security. I don't know what I need to take out, what I don't need to take out. I'm kind of watching people. Are they taking shoes off? You know that whole thing.
Yep.
Send my bag through. It has 2 laptops in it, the one that I do the podcast on and my wife's.
The one with all our content from the show.
Yeah. I think people are beginning to understand where this might be going. I send my backpack through. They tell me I got to take my laptops out. I had to go back in line, take the laptops out, but I stacked the 2 laptops, ran them through. They told me I needed to send them through separately. Went back to send them through separately. By the time I got back through, they're searching through the case that we take our recording gear in, and they're getting in there, and I don't know, just everything going on, and just the crowd of people.
Stress.
Yeah, a little bit, not too bad. I mean, this is all my fault. I grab our stuff and I leave. I am 3 hours into a 10-hour flight when I realized the laptops were left at the airport.
Oh, God, that had to have been the worst feeling. I'm so sorry.
It was. To be in a place where you could do almost absolutely nothing about it.
Yep.
So I had to wait until Lost and Found they turned up. So I did some research, found out that the airport has a lost and found department. Luckily, there's a lot of pictures of the top of my laptop with all the stickers on it, which makes it very noticeable.
Thank God.
Yeah, so about a day and a half later, and after contacting Lost and Found a few times, they did turn up at Lost and Found, which is a miracle.
I know.
Because I figured my whole life would be on the black web right now, or the dark internet, or whatever it's called, the dark web.
And all our content from the meeting, like,
yeah.
We were both heartbroken.
So I'm trying to figure out how to get these laptops back to me. And Lost and Found says you can use a courier service, but you got to find a service that's willing to go to the airport, pick it up, box it up, label it, and send it to you. UPS doesn't pick up if it's not in a box, you know? So I don't know who to use. Luckily, I remembered a gentleman we talked to during the Exocad Insights meeting, Jamie Morano, I think I'm saying his name right, or Morno.
He's a hero.
He is my new best friend.
Yeah.
I happen to just remember him saying that his lab was just outside of Barcelona. Wow. Look him up on Facebook. Hey, it was great talking to you. Can you do me a solid?
Please help
This
me.
gentleman took time out of his day to go to the Lost and Found in the Barcelona airport. There's a lot of emails. I had to prove who I was. I had to prove who he was, and he was picking them up. I had to get serial numbers. It was a whole mess. But this amazing guy, his lab's name is Creadent. And everybody go show him some love online.
Thank you.
He went to the airport. He picked them up. He boxed it up. He got it all ready. And come Monday, it is labeled and ready to make it back to us. So
fantastic. So you're not recording on that computer? You don't have it yet?
No.
Oh.
Yes. Luckily, I back up enough stuff so we can still get some episodes out.
Yeah.
Since we let all the guests listen to their interview, so I email it to them. Yeah, I have that.
Yeah, because, so many blessings. I'm telling you, man. You are a lucky man.
Everything worked out. I could not ask for a better situation for something so stupid that I did. It's just
I was almost in tears when you texted me. I was like, oh my God. So so nothing but good. Yeah,
so thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie.
For doing all of that for us. Much love. I can't wait to release your content because I'm going to talk to you like you're a saint.
Yeah.
But this week, I don't know what you were doing this week.
Oh, I wasn't there. Dang it.
I know. I don't know what's going on, but I had a great conversation with a dental assistant turned dental technician that specializes in full arch hybrids. Shaana Gripp. I, of course, met Shaana on Instagram, where she's known as VA Lady Toothmaker.
Nice.
And honestly, I was impressed with her skills and her photography. But Shaana talks about getting into dental, finding out about the dental lab side of the industry, getting into designing, and working at a few labs before she found herself running an in-office lab for 8 doctors with 4 locations.
Wow.
She's a little busy.
A little.
Shaana gives us a view of her daily life and how she taught herself all the skills that she uses today. So join us as we chat with Shaana Gripp. Whether you're looking to elevate your craftsmanship or looking to cut back on cost, look no further.
Vita MFT teeth are the ultimate solution for creating lifelike and stunning smiles.
Crafted with precision and backed by cutting-edge technology, Vita MFT teeth offer unparalleled aesthetics and durability.
And since Vita believes in the power of experiencing excellence firsthand, for a limited time only, they are offering you the chance to get a complimentary case sample.
That's right, a full case absolutely free. Just visit vitanorthamerica.com/free MFT.
Don't wait any longer to start providing your customers a premium tooth at an economy price. Redeem your free case sample, and if you're ready to buy, Vita will even give you an extra 10% off discount by shopping online on their newly launched online store.
Join the Vita family today, and we appreciate your support of the podcast. Voices from the Bench. The interview. We are super excited today to welcome to the podcast someone that I've been following on Instagram for a while, Shaana Gripp. How are you?
I'm good.
Excellent. So you're known as the VA Lady Toothmaker, and I'm guessing VA means Virginia, not Veterans Association or something?
No, it's Virginia.
Okay. So tell us, how'd you get into dental?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think this year I'm going into 25 years.
25 years.
25 years.
Wow.
It's really unreal to say that. Yeah, but 25 years. I started as
Not bad for someone that's 30, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, well, it's a podcast. Nobody knows.
But yeah, I started as a dental assistant.
Oh,
years ago.
okay.
So yeah, I was chairside and things just evolved and I found my way here.
So what made you get into dental assisting?
My grandmother actually did. She was a pediatric nurse in the military. And then after getting out of the military, she actually worked at the base here. She ran the dental clinic.
Oh, really? Yeah, there's a huge base there in Virginia.
Yeah. So she ran the clinic here. And to this day, people still know her, which is hilarious. But I just grew up, she would bring home like old instruments or something like that. I would play with them and I was always interested in it. And I figured I was like, well, I'm going to go to assisting school. And I did that. And then I started working in the office and things just started evolving. So I started being able to do lab things. And I'm like, this is cool. Didn't know. I mean, we learned it in school, but
How long ago was this? Are you talking about milling crowns or?
No, I go back before milling.
Okay.
We had paper ledgers. No.
Oh, geez, yeah. So what, you just started pouring up models and kind of
I did.
fell in love with it?
So I went to a really good school. Like we got exposed to it, but being able to do it in real world is different. So I started, pouring models, playing with the trimmers and learning how to do like small repairs. And it always piqued my interest. But I kept going with the whole dental assisting, and I'm very driven. So I was like, I'm going to be like the best assistant I can possibly be. So
hey, nothing wrong with that.
Right. So I just kept pushing and pushing. I needed more knowledge. I needed more education. I wanted, to be able to communicate with the doctors. And I have been so lucky to have some of the best doctors that I've ever worked for. They have helped me and pushed me and kind of guided me through things. And I owe a lot to them, actually, because, helping me kind of level up to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. And I didn't really get into the lab part of things a little bit more until CEREC kind of came to the offices. Yeah. So that's when it hit. I think it was about, for me here, 2003 or 4 is when it really kind of came to.
Yeah.
And once I got on that, it was that I knew exactly what I was going to be doing.
So what'd you like about it? Was it the designing aspect of it, or?
Yeah, it was the design. It was, you started this little project from the beginning to the end and you got to see it. And it was I think CEREC at the very beginning was using infrared.
Oh, for the scan.
Yeah, for the scanning. And it was you had to use all this
Probably
powder.
had to use powder.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was a mess. But yeah, that's really where it started. And I just took to it easily, and I think the office and the doctors really appreciated it because it wasn't
trust
everyone's
me, yes,
cup of
they
tea.
did.
But yeah, I just kind of took to that, and I knew exactly as soon as I started, I was like, this is it. This is what I love doing.
Yeah, what exposure did you have to labs before? I mean, obviously they were probably sending work out, but did you ever get to be a part of working with the lab to get the results that you wanted?
Well, I did. And, at that time, CEREC was still very new, but we were still sending things out. And, as you kind of start with bigger cases, the records and stuff like that. So I always had a knack for communicating with the labs and making sure I was getting the right records. Did they look good? The photography, the impressions, how my workflow. So I became very interested in how workflows work. And I have used that as my base for everything. It wasn't until about, I would say, I don't know, I think it was 2012 maybe, I
Mm-hmm.
got into labs. So I started from assisting. I actually got hired into a lab, because I was like, all right, this is what I want to do. I got to learn the ropes. So, one of the bigger labs here in the area actually took me in and said, okay, well, come on in. But I kind of started at the model room and did model work for a long time, and things evolved into being able to start doing like wax ups and designing, and I really took to the designing, I think, the most.
You don't have to talk about it, but you probably took quite the pay cut leaving assistant to go to a lab.
No, not really. No,
Really?
I've never,
Interesting.
yeah, I've never had to cut my pay in any way as far as, kind of evolving. And yeah.
I always heard that dental assistants made pretty decent money, and you said you went into the model room, and
Yeah.
usually they don't.
Well, I think to the assistants, just now have really kind of started climbing in the salary range. But at that time, it was pretty comparative,
Really?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Plus, it was a bigger lab. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you started off in the model room
Mhm.
and working your way into ceramics.
Eventually, yes. But I think everything kind of just slowly progressed. I didn't just get there all of a sudden, but I
Mhm.
wanted to be. So I would go the extra mile to like practice at home or later. And really what got it for me was waxing. Go back before that, I actually taught dental assisting for a little while at one of the local colleges when my daughter was really little. So I would teach at night.
Really?
Yeah, so I teach at night so I could stay home with her for a little bit. But I took taught a lot of courses in like morphology, all of it, x-rays, the terminology and stuff like that. But I think
Mm-hmm.
that was actually paid for me to get my CDA,
What's a CDA?
certified dental assistant.
Oh, certified dental assistant.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you
Yep.
take a test in the boards and you get, certified as it. From there,
This is proof that
yeah,
I know what I'm talking about.
yeah. And then from there, it kind of like interests me even more. So then I started waxing up. So when I hit the lab, I was like, all right, I need to know exactly how I'm going to make this. It's like, so I started waxing things and I would just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. I would ask people, what do you think? What do I change? And that's really kind of how I started learning.
Were you good with the waxing part?
At first, no, but eventually, I
Yeah.
think, yes, now today I can do like, yeah, it looks good. I love it. And, but that's what I needed. I think that's what a lot of people need is like, you just need to get down. Like you can cut into ceramics all day long, but it's like, if you don't know the shape and, the curves, and that's what really makes it look to the next level.
Well, it's one thing to understand what a tooth shape is. It's another thing to actually shape that tooth to that.
It is. It's hard. Like you think in your mind, like, oh, that can't be that hard. And it's like, it actually is.
Yeah, I've tried. I've not put in the time as you have, and I understand it ain't easy.
No, it isn't. It isn't. But I love it. It's so cool. But yeah, it slowly evolved. And I didn't just get thrown at a bench or handed this, be like, do this. I did a lot of it myself. It was me pushing and like, okay, give me more knowledge, give me more knowledge. But from there, I left and started in-house lab. And I worked with a couple of different doctors, kind of like starting things up, but each of them kind of lifting me up, to say it like in my career each time, giving me the resources, the education, and the opportunity to like, experiment and try. And that's really when my design really kicked up a ton. I started designing, hybrids, and which is my love of what I do the most. Learning about implants and techniques and workflows, and that all just, yeah, that's what raises the hair on my arms, I guess you say.
Yeah, so you're at a bigger lab, and you must have learned every step in order to go to a private practice and continue that. How did they find you, or did you reach out to them, or?
No, I think it was an acquaintance. Like it's a small community here, so I think we all know each
100%,
other.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was just like, hey, I want to do this, and I'm like, hey, I want to do this, and it's like, all right, let's do it. That type of thing. And, but yeah, like, and then I've been here at this lab, which I've started pretty much from the ground up since last March. So we're pretty much on a year. But yeah, I walked in. I mean, we have our own building, and we have about 8 doctors. that send
Wow.
work to us. And our primary doctor, Dr. Foley, does hybrids.
Which is awesome.
I know.
Because
I
you
love it.
said that's what you like to do so much.
Yeah.
But let's see, you started off private practice.
Mm-hmm.
How many private practices did you work at before you ended up at the one you're at now?
Well, two. One, I was
Okay.
doing kind of like a combo. I was still assisting, but really working on like higher end cosmetic cases, doing workflow and communication, and some of the implant hybrid cases. I was helping along.
Yep,
I learned a lot doing that. And then the
I
next,
bet.
it was just an in-house lab that was implant based. Then this one.
And there's 8 doctors, and you keep saying us. How many technicians are working with you?
It's just me as a technician, but
Oh.
I actually have 2 other people here that help me because we have a lot of work. So I
Yeah.
have one person that's on like basically kind of admin, which helps me, get the cases in, get them entered, get them in
Mhm.
pans, helps me get them out, so, keep track. So I have somebody that's kind of tracking cases for me, and taking the phone calls and doing orderings so I can kind of stay at the bench. But I've hired my daughter's boyfriend, actually. He was,
Oh, there you go.
yeah, he was in school for like computer software engineering, and it really just wasn't kind of hitting it for him. So I was like, hey, I think I have something that you might be into. And boy, was I right. He has taken off like crazy.
Has he really? That's
He's
cool.
my right-hand man. Literally couldn't do this without him.
And what's he doing? Designing?
Well, he's starting to, but I mean, literally the day that I brought him in here, he had my milling machine up and running and rolling. And I'm like, he knows nothing. And I mean,
That's
it's like he had
amazing.
the mill going, he had the printer. I mean, it was just like, it was second nature. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be perfect. He's really into, the technology part of things. So he started, designing single, unit crowns, and he can scan, cases in, even the largest cases, which you have to, if we do have to scan it in or pull the files in, you have to pull them in like in a certain way or scan them in a certain way. And
Sure.
he just took to it. And I couldn't do it without him. I can tell you that right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your day like? I mean, you have 8 doctors. Are they all in the same building, or
No.
are there multiple practices?
Yeah, we
How does
have
this work?
4 locations, here in Virginia.
Okay.
All pretty close together. There's, I think, 2 in Hampton and then 2 one in Norfolk and one in Virginia Beach.
Where are you at? Virginia Beach?
Yeah, I'm in the Virginia Beach. We have like a big
Sweet.
building, and we have like our own suite upstairs. So that's where
Upstairs, not in the basement. That's fancy.
not the basements. That's why a lot of my pictures you can kind of like, I look like big windows and lots of light, so we get to look out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we think we're really cool here because we get to like ride the elevator up.
Moving on up.
Yeah.
Moving on up.
Yeah.
So all these doctors, I mean, is it you only do the work of the doctors within the organization, or do you take outside work?
No, not yet. We're just doing what we have, within, like I said, like we've really just been up and rolling for about a year, and,
Mm-hmm.
just really kind of feeling and seeing what the potential is of what we can do, and then kind of grow from there possibly.
Okay, so what is your day like? I mean, how do cases come in? What do you do?
Kind of chaos.
Yeah, well,
no,
of course,
I have
yeah.
cases come in, and I still, I'm at the bench, but I still manage, making sure that everything is in the right place, the right time, and I still design as well as sitting at the bench. So I design all of my big cases.
Mm-hmm.
Anything hybrid related cases, I design. Any large cases over like 6 units, I'll design myself because I'm kind of particular, especially about the bites. We do outsource, the smaller stuff, so we can kind of get that higher turnover. But yeah, my day rolls in, and I have pans sitting and waiting for me, and we probably put out 3 to 4 hybrids a week. And I would say it ranges between like 25 to 40 units a week. And then we have like surgical guides, occlusal guards.
And you do all those too?
Yeah. Well, Aiden he helps me a lot. He's the one that he's kind of taken over the whole surgical guide, the printing, all of the model work. He prints all the model work for me, scanning in, outsourcing, intake, stuff like that. So I don't have to. Yeah.
And you just concentrate on
Yeah.
the work, the crowns, the big units,
Yeah.
the hybrids.
Yeah. So, I mean, I literally, like, people task me all the time, like, what do you do? I'm like, I have the coolest job in the world. They're like, really? Like, yeah.
So how did you learn hybrid? Did you take a lot of CE? Did you take a lot of courses?
I did. Well,
Where'd you pick all this up?
Believe it or not, like, a lot of the doctors that I've worked with and for, they would include me in courses they would take.
Oh, nice.
Like, typically, doctors don't take their teams or their assistants, but I'm like, please. Like, so yeah, they would literally take me with them, and I would be learning everything that they're learning and listening, and I would grab any books that I could, and good old YouTube, always there for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm always one of those that I just need to know more. I need to know more. I need to know more. But I do have a few technicians that are kind of like mentors to me. So I have them, I have access to them to ask questions, and they kind of help me along.
Anybody we would know?
I have no idea, but there's some local guys here that, that help me out. And yeah.
Which courses did you take that really stood out? That
you're putting me on the
helped
spot.
you with this hybrid. Sorry.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh. Shoot. I can't even think.
No worries.
I've done so many. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one sticks out the most to me. I have to go back and like rewind in that department.
Do you get to see the patients? Do you get to work with them? I mean,
I do.
Within your assistant background. That's great.
Yeah, I think that's why I love in-house so much, is that it's a little bit more intimate as far as you get to know patients. You get to hear things in a different way. You get to communicate with doctors a little bit closer.
100%.
I like that, and I like that being able to have and utilize my clinical side, with the lab side. It's a different feeling. It's a different world. And I prefer that.
Do you see every patient?
No, I don't see all of the patients. I just see some of the cases that are maybe a little bit more complicated and that kind of need a little bit more attention. Or if we need to do records that maybe the office isn't completely comfortable with or know the workflows to. But most of the hybrid cases that are delivering, I'm going to the deliveries also just to make sure, everything's going good.
Sure.
But yeah, they get to share pictures like immediately with me and stuff like that.
Since you're doing surgical guides, you must be brought in at the very beginning.
Yes and no. Well, right now we get sent the files for the guides. So I'm not doing any of the planning. We have an outside source doing the planning, and then they send us the information to print whatever we need to print for that.
Yeah. So are you making the temporaries?
Yes, we are.
That's going to be converted day of, or how's that workflow?
So they'll send us like all the digital files that all interlink with each other, especially with the guides. And then we do, we just basically print everything and then package it up, and it's here.
Nice. So they can place implants, screw in the temporary all in the same day.
Yep.
And then months down the line, you come in and then you start doing the final.
Yeah, then that's where I come in, and that's my favorite part.
Yeah. What do you use to stain? What's your go-to?
Actually, my go-to is the NX. I use.
Oh, okay. Can't go wrong. Yeah.
Soprano and Surface, and that's only because I started with the NX gum, and then it was kind of like a no-brainer to kind of pull in the Surface, and then I started using the Soprano with the colors, and they keep it very kind of basic and simple, which I love, because if I have too many options, I'm like, I don't even know where to begin.
I don't know how some of these people do it. I really don't.
Yeah, so it's that's probably one of the things that I'm currently just like trying to really hone in on more, since I've do a lot of designing and the hybrid world, but doing single units, anterior units, that's a whole nother ball game. But yeah, that's one thing that I hope this year that I can really, really, really hone in on and get better at.
Yeah, you looking at some courses, or is it just practice makes perfect type learning?
I have a few people that I have in mind that I would love to do like one-on-one. I think one actually I heard on the show, and I contacted her. I think it was Amanda Carson. Yes, I contacted her. I was like, I need to come sit with you. And so eventually I'll be able to, I'll schedule something with her She's just phenomenal.
Oh, she's out in Virginia too, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's big into the Mio. Have you done Mio?
I have. A lot of them are like the same. Some of them have like maybe a different feel to it, but I've used Mio before. But I think like I really just want to hone in on on the technique and like seeing things in a different perspective.
Sure. What software are you using everything with? 3Shape, Exocad?
Exocad, yeah.
Yeah, how'd you learn Exocad?
Just jumped on in there. Like, I think that...
Did you really? Wow.
I did. It makes me kind of like shudder a little bit. Like back in the day, like there was no education on this. Like there was no one teaching Exocad when it really first hit. And it was just like, here, figure it out. And it was like, you would dig for hours for any kind of video or like anything new somebody's putting out. So yeah, I would sit at home just for hours and just get at it. And I was just determined that I was going to figure it out.
Was it provided to you, or when you opened up this lab for this group, you requested it?
No, I had known how to use it a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
I've been actively using
first lab use it?
Yeah, I've been actively using Exocad for years. Yeah, so I can't even remember like what year was that? I think it was like when it really kind of hit the market, and I was like, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
So I forget which office I was at. It was actually brought in, and I'm like, oh heck yeah, this is my jam. Which it was in the lab when I was working here, and that's when I was really exposed to it. And then I just started right after that. I started working on it and kind of took off with it.
Yeah. Have you taken any courses since, or are you doing this all off of self-taught knowledge?
I've taken some online courses, but a lot of it's just self-taught. I mean, really, I mean, it makes sense. It's just when you're designing, you got to be able to see it in a different way. So it's really hard too. It's like you can sit and make it with your hands, and then you make it digitally. So there was a lot of things that I would design, and then I would have it like milled out, and like, wow, that looks nothing like what I thought it would. When I first started, it's like, then you go back to the drawing table. So learning how to digitally design something versus like analog, it's very different. And
is it really?
It is. It feels different. So, and when you see it up on the screen, it can be a little different than when you can hold it in your hand and turn it and twist it. And yeah,
I would imagine all your analog knowledge helped.
It did. And that's where it's like I had to, I don't know, like I could wax all day long. I was like, okay, I got this part. But then like doing it on the screen, I was like, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get it. And finally, like it's just clicked one day. And it's like, I knew exactly, where to pull, drag, push, place.
Yeah. And your aha moment.
Yeah. My aha moment. And it just took off from there.
How often were you in the early days milling it, thinking to yourself, I'll just fix it myself when it's out of the mill?
I still do that sometimes. Oh my
Ain't
gosh.
nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes you just sit there and you're just like, I'll fix it when it gets out. I'll just do it. I can probably do it faster by hand. That part never goes away. I'll be honest. And it's never going to be 100% perfect because I am a perfectionist. But yeah, sometimes I had one recently that I had a miss mill. Like it came out of the mill and it looks like I don't even know what happened. But I got it out and I was like, all right, time to get to work. I had to do it all by hand.
Oh. How long do you spend on these hybrids after a mill? Because some people, they either mill it and then pretty much don't touch it, and some people, and I'm thinking you're one of these, that sit there and contour it in the green state for a long time.
I do. I don't have to spend a whole lot of time in the green state. I'll just put some like little touches here and there. I'll see it. And I'm like, no, I'd rather, this corner turn in this way or this corner turn in this way, or I like to round this off or put some texture into it. But no, I don't really spend a whole lot of time. I may spend an hour, just kind of evaluating it and putting some little details in it.
That's a whole lot of time, Shauna.
Yeah.
I don't.
It is. But, I do have that opportunity here to do that. So I'll get everybody like ready to go. Then we'll get everybody centered, and then they all get finished basically together.
How many are you doing at a time, do you think?
Well, I do. We're pretty much, we have about 3 to 4 a week.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, but, being smaller, we have that opportunity to take our time on some things. So I kind of schedule myself on certain days to do certain things. So, I'm kind of balanced.
How much time do they give you to do one? Or is it everything we need tomorrow?
Oh no, I don't ever, I mean, they're super respectful, and it's nothing that I have to like rush within a couple of days or anything like that. And sometimes we'll get like an email like or a call like, hey, can you print this really fast? Somebody broke this. And like, oh yeah, those are easy. But no, I've never had any of the hybrid stuff rushed because
that's good.
I just don't think it should be.
No, it shouldn't, but we all know it happens.
It happens, but no, I like the process. It's, our workflow is, really getting there and kind of clicking, and no, I love it. It's working out.
That's awesome. So you talked about learning about implants.
Yeah.
Are you teaching yourself that, or?
A lot of it's self-taught. It's just like researching, reading, asking questions. A lot of the doctors in the area, they all use different implant systems. And
oh, do they really?
Yeah. So there's so many.
Within your organization, they all use different ones?
Well, no, we only have, I would say like doctors within the area that, I've learned from, but here they only typically use one, and I think he's using MIS right now.
Okay.
Primarily.
Yep.
So, that's easy. But we do have some other ones here and there. But yeah, I just think over the years, just, learning about the implants, I just always like, okay, I need to know more. I need to know more. So I'm constantly reading. I'm, watching, listening, asking questions. I never hesitate to ask doctors or, other lab techs, hey, what do you think about this? Or how do you do this? Or
sure.
But yeah.
That's the greatest thing about our community.
Yeah, it is.
You can ask pretty much anyone. So are you designing custom abutments?
I do. We're getting ready to start milling them here. So,
ooh,
yeah.
That's exciting.
I am. I'm really excited. It's been hard because we primarily do MIS, and they don't have the blanks approved yet, so we're just waiting on that.
Oh, interesting. I didn't realize they didn't. So do you already have the titanium mill, or?
We do. We have the VHF. We run a K5 and was it the N4? So we mill Emax, and we can do our customs in there, and then the other one's a dry mill for zirconia.
Wow. That's going to be exciting to bring abutments in-house.
It is. I'm really excited. It's been a while, but I do like designing custom abutments. And that was, that's funny too, because I sat there and just determined one day, I was like, I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to be good at it. And I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it over and over again. And yeah.
Is it pretty easy in Exocad?
It is actually. It is. I think when I first started, it was just like, it was kind of like, what the heck am I doing?
Sure.
But yeah, no, today, you jump in there and it's actually quite easy. I've been teaching Aiden also, how to design those and what it's supposed to look like. But yeah.
Is it true you design the crown and then the abutment in Exocad? Did I hear that?
Yes, you can do that now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's huge.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, because 3Shape, you did the abutment and then the crown.
Well, I think
it makes more sense to do it the other way.
We started that way, and then I think it changed where, you design the crown and then go back.
It just makes sense. I mean,
it does.
The computer, put the abutment in there.
It does. It does.
I just need the support. I don't care really what it looks like.
Right. As long as it holds it in place, we're good.
100%. Mm-hmm. A lot of talk with hybrids and direct to multi-units.
Yep.
Not using tie bases. Or is your office doing that?
Yes, I do both. So we've been using.
What do you prefer?
I think we've just done a few directs that have delivered. I guess really long term is really going to make my opinion on them. But they've been delivering well, and I haven't had any issues coming out of the mill or out of the oven. They've been perfect seats. We're using the Vortex screw, which I love using those.
Who makes that? Do you know?
They come out of
if
LA,
you don't know,
LA
fine.
Dental Lab.
Oh, maybe that's why I've never heard of it. I never heard of LA Dental.
You put me on the spot. I forget there was a doctor, I believe,
sorry,
that designed it. That designed this particular screw.
Are you telling me you didn't show up to this podcast with notes? Come on.
I know. Oh my God, no. Shoot. I'm one of those people, if you put me on the spot, I'm like, I have no idea. I just lost all my thoughts.
It's all good. I'm just curious. I've never heard of that brand, and I mean that I'm sure it works, but
It is. It's really awesome. It has a very unique design to it, and the way that it holds the zirconia in place. So.
yeah. How are you getting the records to do your finals? How is the doc? Is he scanning? Is he taking impressions?
We do both. I get both analog workflow and I get digital workflow.
On the same patient, or
No,
or it's either or?
it's usually either or, and sometimes it's kind of a combination. Some of the cases I'm actually taking in were started elsewhere and are finishing with me. So I'm kind of getting a little bit of the pieces and parts, but we're really kind of looking at refining our workflow here, going into this year.
How's the digital? Is there photogrammetry involved? Are you getting face scans? Are you doing all that?
No, I'm not getting any of that as of yet. There's been talk of it, bringing it on board.
Mm-hmm.
But no, keep it very basic, simple, easy. I just do a lot of my designing. I can design with CT and with photographs. And so far, so good. I really haven't really been leaning on having to have the 3D. I think it's a nice feature to have, but not something that's completely necessary. But no, it's pretty kind of the basic workflow. They give me the initial records. I design, mock up and do the try-ins. They get the try-ins. They approve it. They write around in it, and then we can go to final. Yeah,
and you're milling what, PMMA for the try-ins?
Generally printing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Generally printing now.
What are you printing?
I use the Onyx.
Am I putting you on the spot again?
Yeah. Oh, I'm printing with the Asiga UV.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I love a good Asiga.
Oh, I love it. Either we're using or printing those in the Onyx or just the temp.
Are you putting pink on those, or are you letting them try in as a monolithic?
Some of them, if they're going to be riding around in them for a while, we'll put the pink on. But if it's just going to be just for a quick try-in, making sure that, giving us a thumbs up, then we'll just no pink. We'll just polish it up. And sometimes I will make them into kind of like a jig. So we'll kind of slice it and seat it into like a Essex retainer so they can seat it and kind of fuse everything together if we need to do a verification at any time.
You do a verification with the temp?
Yeah, so we do a verification with the temp. So they'll...
Hey, explain that. What does that mean? I mean, you cut it?
Mm-hmm. So we cut it. So we print it, and then I seat it onto the model. I'll dupe it, make a kind of like a retainer that sits around it to hold it in place. And then we'll slice it in between the implants. So when they go to seat it, they can inject resin into the slots. So we have a verification of seat. When they send it back, then we'll make sure everything fits right, and then send back kind of like a mock-up of exactly what everything's going to look like, and they'll give us the thumbs up.
So if your original model was wrong, what do you have to do? Pour a new model off of the new jig?
So we pour a new model if we need to, just to make sure that we got it nailed.
How often do you have to pour up a new model?
Not very often. I think
that's good. You're all spot on then.
Yeah, so far so good. I think I've more so with cases that I'm getting from that were started somewhere else. Now they're starting with me. You're getting old records, so it's nice to kind of just start fresh and make sure that you have everything exactly where you need it.
Yeah. So I notice your photos on Instagram are quite good. How'd you get into photography?
It's funny. Actually, I shot professionally for about 6 years. Yeah.
What?
I did.
Doing dental?
No, it wasn't even dental. It was actually kind of like lifestyle weddings and stuff like that. I shot. Yeah. I have a photography background, and hopefully I want to make a studio up here so I can do more studio style pictures, for our patients before and afters. So that's kind of like a working project. I've done that before at, other locations. But yeah, I shot professionally for 6 years.
Wow. How'd you get into that? Just love taking pictures?
Yes. I'm one of those people, I'll pick something up and I'm like, I'm going to do this. Then I'm just going to go all the way.
I want to make a career out of this.
People make fun of me all the time. They're like, is there anything you can't do? And I'm like, I don't know yet. I don't know. know. But yeah, I did. I picked it up and, it was really successful and I loved it, but then just started getting busy and like relocated but I kind of carried it over to the dental side.
How did it carry over? It's a big difference between a wedding and
teeth, yeah.
A hybrid. Yeah.
Well, the picture wise and like the physical taking the picture wise really isn't. I mean, you're still looking at light and color and placement and, that type of stuff and how you're composing your pictures. So it translated well. And I don't know. I think when I really started getting more into like the cosmetic part of dentistry, that's when it was like, oh, I can really put the two together.
You must have a hell of a nice setup of a camera. I mean, it's not just iPhone, is it?
Some of it's just iPhone, honestly. And I do have a camera here, my personal camera that I have, in the lab that, I'll take kind of like the more studio style looking pictures, which is literally me holding my ring flash like over I don't have anything elaborate. I don't have anything crazy set up or anything like that. It's just, my camera, my ring flash, and I'll hold it in different angles and places, and it just makes cool pictures.
So the ring flash, you don't leave the ring around the lens as it's intended.
No, sometimes I do.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so I do shade checks up here. So I have patients that'll come up and see me, and it's on the camera for that. I'll take natural light, and I'll take flash pictures. But when I'm taking like artsy pictures, I'll take my ring flash off, and I'll hold it in different positions. And it kind of works as like a little studio light.
So how often do you see shade patients?
I probably get 1 or 2 a week that come up here and see us. So they'll come up here and I'll take before and after pictures, or I'll take before pictures and get, put them in front of the window, take, natural light pictures. And then I'll take, I'll take flash pictures as well.
Yeah. What shade guide do you always go off of? Is it Vita?
Vita, and then the 3D.
Yeah.
So those two are my big ones. I'll pick a couple different shades, but I try to get the detail shades and kind of like I'll draw. I have like a little piece of paper, like I'll draw like, okay, use this, and kind of like map out. I'm trying to get better.
Yeah, I'm being asked to come in and do custom shades all of a sudden, and I'm not a ceramist. I'm terrible at it. It's like, I'd love to know any tips that you have.
I don't know, because I'm really just kind of honing in on this as well, because I mean, I've just now started kind of like playing with, ceramics themselves and the different colors and stacking and the mixing. And so like over all of these years, yes, it's like I can design, I can mill, I can do this, I can do single units, but it's like when you start working with anteriors and, really getting into it and stacking porcelain and micro layering and stuff like that, it's like a whole new, it's a whole new ball game.
Yeah.
So
I just get a shade tab that's close and then take pictures.
So I really kind of just look through the tooth and like find that base shade. Like what is your base? And then I kind of like fill in around, like I think of it as like a circle. And then I think around, what colors do you see in this part, and try to separate yourself.
Interesting. Yeah. So, start with the core shade.
Yeah. So I really start with that core shade. And then I try to like look around the tooth and then, find the other shades that are also associated that make it look more 3D. That seems to be working better for me, being able to map that out.
How often are you having to redo a custom shade?
If
it's not often, then you must be doing it right.
Yeah, I mean, I probably get one here and there. I mean, I do, for some reason, it's like single unit or like central anterior, like they come in waves. It's like, oh, here we go.
Sure.
But I would say like out of the bunch of them, maybe like one. Like, okay, it was too gray or it was, too bright, so you had to play with that a little bit. And they're all on implants, which makes it even harder. It's like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
But we have one of our doctors here. She loves using Emax, I love working with Emax, especially with anterior. And I have an easier time working with that than I do zirconia, especially with anteriors and staining and colors, but I'm getting better.
Why is that?
I have no idea.
Is that because it's translucent?
I think so. I just think the way that the light moves through it is just very, very different.
Yeah.
Zirconia we have beautiful zirconia and it's nice and translucent looking, but it just doesn't compare to Emax. still.
No,
But yeah.
no, it doesn't. What zirconia do you use?
I think the one that we're using right now is a Dite, and then we use Prime, and we also use, oh my gosh.
A couple different brands.
Oh my gosh, we do. I use them for different things and looks, and if we're doing full arches or if we're doing, anterior work and stuff like that.
Really? That's interesting, because usually people get a brand and they stick with the brand and use its different variations, but I've never heard this.
Yeah, so we use a different one for our hybrids than we do, for just single unit posteriors. So I don't do a whole lot of them, changing around because we're smaller, so we don't have to worry about having tons. We can kind of like order as we go. But yeah, just
I see. Yeah, you're not stocking everything. Yeah.
So, we're not really super high volume, so we can kind of cater to, the look that we're going for, with certain brands.
Yeah. It sounds like you're enjoying this not super high volume.
I do. I love this.
Chance to.
But it's like I learn. It's like I don't ever want to stop learning, and I just want to keep. That's why I love this so much, is that I really get the opportunity to slow down and just be really good at it. Versus just pumping it out. Yeah. So I have friends that, they 100%. Sit at the bench and they're pumping them out like crazy.
Yep.
I just feel like I would be burnt out very fast. And because I'm always looking to, I want to try this. I want to try this. I want to try this. And I want to experiment a little bit in between. So, but yeah.
And it's good that you have doctors that allow you to do that.
Yes, I feel
hopefully encourage you to do that.
Incredibly lucky. Like, oh my gosh, I feel so lucky that I get to do this, and especially at this pace and being able to learn and kind of like excel, and it's phenomenal. I couldn't ask for anything better.
What's plans? Are you looking to hire more people? Looking to grow?
I think so. I think that we're going at a really good pace. I think that we may be bringing on some like maybe designing and stuff like that, or someone else that can finish single units and stuff like that here. But I think we're going to roll out this year, see where we're at, then maybe get a little bit bigger. But, to keep the cost down, we like to stay small. That's the whole point of, having the in-house.
But you have your own suite, I think is what you call it.
We do. I should post more of it. It's really cool up here. It's actually, we have like a big education room here that like tables and big screens and.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's really pretty up here. It's really nice. I feel lucky. We have like windows that go all the way around, the building. So we're always getting natural light.
You definitely have it unique. Yeah. Usually we're in the basement.
No, no basement here. So I feel like a little princess sitting up in my tower.
The education room, do they put on courses? Do you get to go to those and learn?
Well, I'm hoping that this year we'll be able to do some more up here, since everything with the lab is, pretty much where it needs to be and good and stable. And Dr. Adam Folick here, he does his own courses. He's part of the Chicago Institute in teaching, all of the implant stuff. So I think that he's wanting to teach some of his own courses here in the building. I think that's what the full intention is of, building that education room and seeing where that goes. I'd like to put on a few courses for photography. I think that's one of my things on my goals for the year is like, I would love to put on some photography courses, especially here locally, not just for doctors, but assistants also to come in and, learn, how to take really good photography and how important it is and how important records are. I think records is like everything, like the case. That's
100%.
That's the whole core of the case right there is records, and just being and learning, techniques and what's what and why we need it. And I think that's important.
Yeah. I never understood why dental offices, it's so hard just to take pictures. It's like every patient should have just pictures. I mean, we're in a digital age. It's not taking up room. You're not developing film anymore. And it should just be as common as putting the little napkin bib on. You always take photos, but it seems to always be a struggle.
It is. And I think that it's a little intimidating, to take pictures, especially when, doctors are buying these really big fancy cameras and you have, people coming in that have never really held anything like that before. And they're like, what do you want me to do?
Oh, sure.
Like there's so many
Yeah, you start talking about f stops and
yes,
focal points and I don't know.
Gosh, but there's so many, like cameras have downsized so much. My camera that I personally use is like tiny. And everybody's like, wow, it's so small. I'm like, yeah, that's all you really need.
You don't have a big, huge setup?
No, I don't. I do not. I have to take a picture of it. I'll have to post it. But yeah, she's small. It's a little Canon. And, I have different kinds of lenses I can put on it in my ring flash. But I keep the body small just so it's easier to, go to offices and stuff like that with it or carry it around. And
yeah,
much more simple.
How often are you at all these 4 offices?
I don't know.
Once a day at least?
We have one office here that's underneath of us. So
yeah,
personally myself, I don't really go maybe once a week if I have to. But everyone else up here will be in and out communicating with people and
nonstop.
Yeah, so yeah, it's always something like a case needs to go here, we need to pick up this, or we get a part, or we need to deliver. So I have 2 people that help me up here, so they're pretty much my runners throughout the days, except
they'll deliver cases to the other offices for you. I mean, you're in charge of delivery too. Wow.
We're in charge of pickup, delivery. We basically run just like an actual outside lab, literally. Like our workflows are the same. Our intake, our out, everything going out is about the same. We're invoicing everything. So
as a lab for an organization, you bill out to the individual doctors?
Yes, we do. Mm-hmm. So we're pretty much
interesting.
Yeah. So we've set it up so we're pretty much on our own. We're kind of like a little lab up here, but we just only our doctors. But yeah, all of it.
But you're looking to eventually expand and take on outside work too, right?
I think eventually, yeah. I think we're doing really good. I think what the goal was as a practice to really get the lab cost kind of down into a certain percentage. And I think once we get that formula worked out, then yeah, that would be a no-brainer to start, bringing in outside work to help supplement that.
And you're brought into these conversations about cost and overhead and
Yes, yeah, we all are. So we're always communicating, where we stand, we'll have like little meetings, basically printing out and going over like the reports about how we're doing, how many units, what we're looking like, it's like, what are our goals? So we have like how many we want to see go out on certain dates, and stuff like that. So we're very mindful.
Yeah, I just never heard of a, in-office lab that's run almost like a non-in-office lab. I find that interesting.
Yeah, you kind of have to. And I think that's where, a lot of practices go wrong is like you can't treat it like a dental practice because it's very different. It can be incredibly beneficial, but you gotta run it the right way.
Yeah, very cool. And what about going to dental shows? You ever get to go to Lab Day? Do they ever send you to those?
My heart hurts. I didn't get to go this year.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Oh, I was so sad. I probably had so many people like, are you going to be there? Are you going to be there? I'm like, no, not this year. Yes, in the past I have, but I did not get to go this year, which made me really super, super sad.
Sure.
But,
sorry to bring up the hurt.
No, well, I'll be there. I will definitely be there on the next one. But I'm just here recently kind of putting together maybe some courses that I'd like to do this year. I have my eye on a few, but I'm going to look at some dates and stuff like that. But yeah, this year is definitely going to be the year that since we have everything up and running and everything's stable, I can probably take some time for those extras and things I need to see. And
you mentioned Annex. Have you been out there?
No, but I want to. I really do want to.
Yeah.
I adore the products and the company themselves, and that would be really exciting.
We love Tay and everything she's done. And they have a new education area that just looks cool, and
it does. It really does. They just look like my vibe. I'm excited. Yep. I definitely want to.
Good people. Mm-hmm. Well, Shaana, thank you so much. That was great.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I love hearing what you're doing. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun and killing it at the same time.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see you in Chicago next year.
All right, that sounds great.
Cool. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
A huge thanks to Shaana for joining Elvis and not me on the podcast. I'm really sorry that I missed the conversation, especially since you are a fellow awesome ceramist, but it also sounds like you do a whole heck of a lot more. We really love hearing about technicians that find good homes in good offices that allow them to succeed, and it definitely sounds like you are killing it and having a good time at the same time. What's really interesting is that you get to run it as your own business, which I really respect, and kind of be your own boss. Best of luck to you in your future growth. We cannot wait to see you at the next dental show. Hopefully we will soon.
Absolutely. And hopefully
the
laptop will be back with all of the content.
Right on.
All right, everybody. That's all we got for you. And we will talk to you next week.
Have a great one.
Bye.
And happy Labor Day. Or is Labor Day next week?
Next week.
Okay.
I'll take that out. The views and opinions expressed on the Voices from the Bench podcast are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the host or Voices from the Bench, LLC.